Let's get on to main topic number one. And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Andrew Cook. And Andrew Cook writes, a recent expose over the toxic culture at Weta Digital has featured on the national news program One News at 6 over the last couple of nights. More than 40 current and former Weta Digital staff have spoken about bullying, harassment, and sexism at the Wellington Special Effects Company. This, of course, is Peter Jackson's company. Workplace Relations Minister Andrew Little is calling for an independent investigation into the matter. Some Weta Digital projects have received government funding. All right, thanks a lot for sending this in, man. And yeah, listen, in the world of special effects, and special effects it has a special place in my heart. I worked in the visual effects and CG industry for a little while. And I'm a big fan of, and Weta, my God, what they were able to do with Weta and the Lord of the Rings and a lot, Avengers Endgame and a lot of things since, Weta Digital has kind of, other than Industrial Light and Magic, probably the number two, at least in terms of prestige, digital visual effects companies out there. And under the whole image that they have being this, you know, New Zealand kind of company under Peter Jackson and all that kind of stuff, it has a particular image. However, you're right. A whole ton of employees, it's not one or two, it's in the multiple dozens, have come out and made certain claims like this. This comes to us from stuff.co, who writes, Weta Digital told One News on Wednesday it is aware of historical behavior issues, but said the company has changed and the complaints do not reflect the Weta Digital of today. Weta Digital has worked on several big budget films, including, of course, Birds of Prey, Avengers Endgame, and the BFG. By the way, I like the BFG. I know a lot of people didn't. I really did like the BFG. Anyway, but that's just me. So we've got these reports saying they've got over 40 employees making claims of like this unacceptable work environment, like over 40 of them. Weta saying, yes, we did have a problem, but we addressed it. Where this becomes an issue is if you are a company that is getting government money, then you open the door for the government to get involved when claims like this are being made. It's going to be interesting to see how all this transpires because Weta Digital and Peter Jackson and what that company has done for New Zealand and the image of New Zealand has kind of made them something of a national treasure, Rob. So it's going to be interesting to see how they proceed with this. Look, I don't know anything about the inner workings of Weta. For all I know, this was something that was a real problem there. And like a year ago, they dropped the hammer and said, no, this is not what our company's about. And they may have fixed everything by now. I mean, it could be, maybe it becomes an issue. If it is an issue, it's going to shake up the visual effects world as we know it, particularly if we start seeing their government funding starting getting pulled and they can't work on government projects because they are so identified with New Zealand. You know what I mean? Rob, you heard about this story. What are your thoughts and impressions of it?
Well, you know, having been down there, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I, you know, covered Weta Workshop and Weta Digital extensively for the Lord of the Rings special features. I mean, that was a long time ago, you know, 19, 18, 17 years ago. But I can see, you know, when you're working in these environments at long hours, and not to excuse anyone's behavior, but you get a little loopy and people look, people start telling inappropriate jokes, they start doing inappropriate things, and it can spiral out of control. And I hope that everything is I didn't see anything remotely like that, but I would hope that they would alleviate these problems because nobody needs to work in a toxic workplace like that. And yeah, but it was a pressure cooker environment. When you're trying to finish movie projects, and you, as you know, John, you worked in special effects, people get crazy. Long hours, people are sleeping on the floor in their offices because they're waiting for renders to finish. I mean, it's a crazy world. And I think perhaps maybe some oversight can help.
Yeah, and here's hoping it is an issue that's makes again, this could have, and the reason this story kind of interested me is because Weta is such a predominant player in such a predominant industry within the entertainment world itself that, like, if something were to happen to Weta, that has wide-ranging implications across the entire movie sphere. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it is, as Weta has already said, that there was a problem, but we dealt with it. I'm hoping that's what the case is. We'll keep our eye on this as this story progresses. Question is, guys, what do you think about this whole thing? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.